My teenage son accidentally sent me a text meant for his friend, and that's how I learned my wife's book club had been an affair for 5 years, and he'd known all along. The text that shattered my world. The chime of my phone was a mundane sound in a mundane moment. A Tuesday night. The dishwasher hummed its steady rhythm from the kitchen, and the blue glow of the television painted the living room walls. I was scrolling through news headlines, one leg tucked under me on the couch, perfectly at ease in the quiet of my own home. It was a text from my 16-year-old son, Liam. I smiled seeing his name. He was at a friend's house for a study group. Or so I thought. Liam, hey, just checking, is the coast clear for the night? Is she gone? The message was simple. Innocent. She was my wife, Sarah. His mother. Tuesday was her book club night, a sacred ritual she'd maintained for 5 years. I felt a flicker of paternal amusement. He wanted to know if he could have his friends over for video games without the maternal radar detecting them. I was a cool dad. I got it. My thumbs tapped out a reply. Yeah, Mom's at book club. The fortress is all yours. Have fun. Pizza money's on the counter. Don't burn the house down. I set the phone down, my smile lingering. I was about to get up for a drink when the 3 little dots appeared, pulsed, and then vanished. A beat of silence. Then they appeared again, bouncing with a strange, hesitant energy. A new message bloomed on the screen. Liam, good. I can't stand pretending to be cool with her anymore. It's so messed up, dude. Knowing what she's doing right now while my dad sits here, clueless. 5 years of this shit. It makes me sick. The world did not slow down. It stopped. The hum of the dishwasher faded into a distant whine. The light from the TV became a meaningless smear of color. There was only the text, the black letters on the bright white screen, each one a shard of ice being driven slowly into my chest. Clueless. 5 years. Makes me sick. I read it once, my brain refusing to parse the meaning. I read it a second time, and the words began to detonate, one after another, in the core of my being. A cold numbness started in my fingertips and began crawling up my arms. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a misunderstanding. The raw, unfiltered venom in the words was too real. Before I could even form a thought, my phone vibrated again. And again. A frantic staccato of panic. Liam, oh God. Liam, Dad. Liam, I'm so sorry. Liam, that wasn't for you. Liam, please ignore that. Liam, I didn't mean to send it. The phone started to ring in my hand. His name flashed on the screen. I answered, bringing the device to my ear, but I couldn't speak. All I could hear was his ragged breathing, choked with sobs. Dad. Dad, please say something. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. His voice broke, and the sound of my son, my strong, smart boy, utterly shattered, was a physical pain in my gut. Liam, I managed, my own voice a stranger's, flat and dead. Where are you? I'm coming home. I'm on my bike. Please don't. Please be there. He hung up. The drive home from my own living room, is a blank space in my memory. I remember standing up. I remember grabbing my car keys from the bowl by the door, their cold metal a stark contrast to the burning heat of my skin. I remember the quiet, empty street as I drove the short, pointless distance back to the house I had just left. My mind was a void, a white noise machine of static. Asterisk 5 years. 5 years. Asterisk. I found him in his room, just as I knew I would. He was curled on his bed, still in his jacket, his face a mess of tears and snot. His phone was clutched so tightly in his fist his knuckles were white. He couldn't look at me. I stood in the doorway, my frame filling the space, a monument of a life that had just been proven false. Liam, I said, my voice dangerously calm. Look at me. He flinched, but he obeyed. His eyes, the same shade of hazel as mine, were swimming in a sea of shame and terror. It's true, isn't it? I asked, though I already knew. The truth was a stone in my stomach. He nodded, a fresh wave of tears spilling over. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. The questions lined up in my mind, cold and clinical, a lawyer's interrogation. I am a lawyer. It's how I process, it's how I survive. I step out of my body and into the mind of the prosecutor. How long have you known? The question fell into the room like a judge's gavel. He swallowed hard, the sound thick in the quiet room. A year. Almost exactly a year. A year. The word was a punch. How? He told me. A story so mundane it was cruel. He'd been doing homework on my iPad, which was synced to my messages. A notification popped up from her. He clicked it, and he saw a thread that wasn't meant for his eyes. Pictures that weren't for a husband. Words that weren't for a wife. A man named Mark. A man I knew. A man who had sat at my dinner table. And you didn't think to tell me? The pain was turning to anger now, a hot, sharp blade twisting inside me. Your own father. She begged me not to, he cried, his voice rising to a wail. She cried, Dad. She got on her knees in my room and she cried. She said it was complicated. That she was unhappy but that she loved us and didn't want to break up the family. She said it was a mistake, a stupid mistake, and that she would end it. She promised me. She swore on my life she would end it and be a better mom, a better wife. I believed her. I wanted my mom. I wanted my family. The layers of the betrayal unfolded like a poisoned flower. It wasn't just Sarah. It was my son. My boy. They had formed a secret pact in the heart of our home. They had shared this terrible knowledge while I lived in blissful ignorance, buying the groceries, planning the vacations, loving my wife. I was the fool, the cuckold, the last to know in his own tragedy. Tell me everything, I commanded, my voice low. About Mark. About the book club. And he did. Through hiccuping sobs, he painted a picture of a double life so meticulously crafted it took my breath away. The book club was the perfect alibi. A fixed, weekly, unquestionable event. The books were real, she'd even discussed them with me, offering sharp insights she must have read from online reviews. The other members were covers, friends she'd enlisted with lies of her own, or so Liam suspected. The hotel charges on the credit card were book club retreats. The late nights were plotting the community library fundraiser. I listened, and I died a little with every detail. I died when he described the specific brand of cologne he'd smelled on her that wasn't mine. I died when he told me about the time he saw her car parked in a lot near Mark's office on a Tuesday afternoon. I died when he confessed that for the past year, every family dinner, every holiday, every movie night had been a form of torture for him, watching this elaborate play unfold with me as the willing, duped audience. I left his room. The hallway seemed to stretch for miles. I walked into the master bedroom, our bedroom, and it was like walking onto a crime scene. The bed where we slept. The photo from our wedding in Hawaii on the wall. The scent of her perfume on the air. It was all evidence. It was all a lie. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I sat on the edge of the bed, in the exact spot where she slept, and I started building a case. I accessed our shared cloud account from my phone. I took screenshots of credit card statements, highlighting the suspicious charges. I found emails I'd ignored, now glaringly obvious in their vagueness. The lawyer in me was building the coffin for my marriage, and it was the only thing keeping me from climbing inside it myself. When Sarah came home 2 hours later, she was breezy, effervescent. "Hey you," she said, dropping her purse and that month's book, a thick historical novel, on the dresser. "Everything okay?" Liam texted me saying he wasn't feeling well and came home. He didn't answer when I checked in. I looked at her. I really looked at her. The careful, fresh application of makeup. The way her hair was slightly different, as if it had been down and was now tied back up. The energy that buzzed around her, an energy I'd mistaken for intellectual stimulation from her book club, but now recognized as the lingering high of a secret rendezvous. "Liam told me everything," I said. The change was instantaneous. The light in her eyes didn't just dim, it was extinguished. "Told you what? What's wrong? Is he okay?" He told me about the text he sent. The one he meant for his friend. The one about how it makes him sick to pretend to be cool with you. I paused, letting the words hang in the air. He told me about Mark, Sarah. He told me he's known for a year. He told me about your promise. Her face crumpled. It was the most genuine expression I'd seen on her in years. The color drained from her cheeks, leaving a sickly, ashen pallor. "No," she whispered. "Oh, God, no." She stumbled to the bed, collapsing a few feet from me. "It's not what you think," she began, the classic, cliched line of every cheater. It just happened. It was a moment of weakness." "Don't you dare," I snarled, the calm finally shattering. "Don't you dare reduce 5 years of systematic, calculated deception to a moment of weakness. You didn't trip and fall on his dick every Tuesday for half a decade." She flinched as if I'd struck her. The tears came then, real and messy. She tried to explain, to talk about feeling unseen, about the monotony of marriage, about how Mark listened. But her words were just pathetic excuses, the script of every midlife crisis. They meant nothing. Then she said it. The thing that sealed her fate in my heart forever. "You have to understand," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "A part of me did it for this family. I stayed for you and Liam. I didn't want to break up our home." The rage that erupted in me was pure and blinding. I stood up, towering over her. "You did it for us." My voice was a low, dangerous roar. "You made our 16-year-old son your confidant. You burdened him with a secret that was crushing him. You made him an accomplice in lying to his own father. You didn't stay for us, Sarah. You stayed for the house. You stayed for the security. You stayed so you could have your family and your affair without any of the inconvenience of a divorce. You are a coward. And you are a terrible mother for what you did to our son." I turned and walked out. I slept in the guest room that night, on stiff, unfamiliar sheets, staring at a ceiling I'd never really looked at before. The divorce was long and ugly. She fought the infidelity clause, but Liam's testimony, given with a heartbreaking reluctance that infuriated the judge more than it did me, was undeniable. The image of a mother manipulating her child to conceal her adultery was a stain she couldn't wash off. The hardest part, harder even than losing the woman I thought I loved, was rebuilding my relationship with Liam. For months, I was so angry with him. The betrayal felt like it came from 2 directions. But in therapy, I began to see it. He wasn't the traitor. He was the first and most vulnerable victim. He was a child trying to hold his universe together with duct tape and lies, terrified that telling the truth would be the bomb that blew it all apart. Sarah is with Mark now. They live in a condo. Liam sees her, but the easy camaraderie is gone, replaced by a strained, careful politeness. The trust between them is as broken as it is between her and me. People think infidelity is about sex. It's not. It's about the theft of your reality. It's about realizing that the history you cherish is a forgery, the love you nurtured was a performance, and the future you planned was a fantasy. And the sound you never forget isn't the confession, but the choked, desperate voice of your child on the phone, apologizing for being the one who finally handed you the truth.